Players are calling Seer OP because of one single change in his new update, while at the same time they're saying the new Maggie update is useless. So I decided to take a look to see what the truth is and why Seer just lost his #1 pick rate spot. Yes, he's already lost it to another legend, but honestly, the new Apex update has been pretty solid. I've been really enjoying it, and a lot of people are really enjoying the Seer update, to the point where there was actually a pretty popular post on the Apex subreddit, which is normally pretty negative, saying, "I'm having fun on the game," to which the top reply was, "No fun allowed." And honestly, I think there's a pretty simple reason why Seer is fun right now. Respawn made his abilities more responsive and gave him movement. I'm pretty sure that's all it takes to make a legend fun. Honestly, his double jump is awesome, but before I tell you something strange about his double jump, where he can actually beat Sparrow, why are people calling him OP? Well, not because of his movement, although there are some complaints about the movement that I'll touch on, but instead this perk right here. This perk is apparently annoying a lot of players because it's simply very spammy. Essentially what this perk does, whenever you're in the range of your Seer ultimate, your tactical cooldown is drastically reduced to around 4 seconds, so you can pop an insane amount of scans. And because Seer's tactical ability silences you, when people get spammed by this, they get really mad. Additionally, many Seer players are combining this upgrade and this upgrade to essentially heal themselves by spamming their enemy. So this is the main complaint about Seer's power level right now, and maybe it could see a nerf, although a lot of people love to pick apart new Legends updates when they come out and then forget about the complaints several days later, so we'll have to see how this one actually pans out in game. But moving over to his movement abilities, they have a really weird quirk which I think is unintentional, as when Seer places his ultimate down, within his ultimate he will get double jumping, enhanced jumping and hover aiming, which are a set of very powerful abilities, and when you double jump it will actually show the movement ability bar at the bottom, which is used by Ash and Sparrow. The weird quirk I figured out though is that when Ash and Sparrow go into caustic gas, it drains their movement bar ability. They can't double jump or dash outside of caustic gas, essentially trapping them. But when I was playing Seer to investigate for this video, I actually saw some caustic gas and thought, why not test it? And it turns out Seer doesn't actually lose his double jump or have his double jump drained at all when within caustic gas. So right now, he's the only legend with a movement bar that won't get it drained. Another pretty crazy quirk I found with Seer that I didn't realise was a thing, that Seer can use his movement abilities within other Seer ultimates. As I was having a fight, a Seer activated his ultimate around me and I noticed my jumping became enhanced. That was because when I was in the radius of any exhibit, not just my own exhibit, I could use my movement abilities. So definitely make sure to remember this one because it's a hell of a useful tip. But there's one complaint people have right now about the Seer movement abilities, and a select few are very mad about it. Their aim hover. Now, don't get me wrong, people aren't mad about the power of the aim hover. Well, some are, but people are mad it's getting them killed, because many people are playing Seer and forgetting that when they aim down sights in the air, it freezes them in the air. And when you're playing in very high level games, if you stay still in the air for just a second, you are getting lasered. So this has led to many deaths and many clips, and many people agree this is annoying. And it's a bit of a hard issue for Respawn to fix, because you can't really selectively add aim hover. It's kind of on or it's off. So this is catching a lot of people out and essentially turning people into pinatas. I don't really know how Respawn can get around this one. It's kind of similar to when Ash's dash was added, and because people weren't used to it, they were accidentally dashing and begging Respawn to add an alternate button to activate the Ash dash. But honestly, I think it might just be the case that people have to get used to Seer's new abilities. And honestly, his update has been brilliant, and it's definitely overshadowed the other Legend update that came with the new event, Mad Maggie's. Mad Maggie got a sizable update that basically made her ball more devastating, more reliable, and also made her drill way more snappy. But despite the update being pretty solid on paper, a lot of people are saying they're not very happy with it. And Respawn did the right thing updating Maggie, but didn't update the right aspects of her. On the subreddit, there's a post from a long-time Mad Maggie main saying the update is okay, but Respawn didn't address their main gripe with Maggie: the fact that Maggie's ball stuns herself and also teammates. And trust me, in my time playing Mad Maggie, I definitely stunned defend myself. And when you compound this with the fact that Mad Maggie's ultimate is kind of unpredictable, it still makes her very frustrating to play as. Also, a fair few players are mad about Respawn removing the shots perk, which auto-reloaded shotguns on knock, to replace it with the new perk that allows Maggie to run at sprint speed while holding SMGs and shotguns, which is very understandable, because they said you're kind of ruining Maggie's identity as the shotgun character, and it's now harder to clear enemy teams as Maggie with a shotgun, which is also fair criticism. After my time playing Mad Maggie, in some moments she felt very powerful. Her drill is definitely a lot more responsive, it feels way better to use, especially in combat, but her ball is so annoying. At the start of gameplay, I tried to use the ball as an offensive tool to be thrown at enemies, but half the time it just ended up seeming like I was wasting it. Sometimes when I'd throw the ball at enemies, it would bounce off and go in its own direction, and other times it would explode in my face. And I ended up just coming to the conclusion that the ball would just be better off being used as a rotational device. So say if I wanted to move from one building to another and enemies were watching me, I would just throw the ball to the next building and then use the pads to get a speed boost to the next building, and also the reinforced passive to take less damage from the enemies who were shooting at me. So basically, I just stopped using it against enemies and just used it as a rotational tool, which I think Respawn might be deliberately pushing it towards. Honestly, the changes like adding the reinforced passive to the pads that come off the wrecking ball and also making the pads deactivate does make me think that Respawn want people to stop using the ball as an offensive tool. Honestly though, no matter how much they change Maggie, I just think she is fundamentally not a very good character because her ultimate is so random. If you think for a second, legends like Sparrow have a powerful ultimate that can kill enemies, while Maggie's half of the time won't go where you want it to, and when it does go where you want it to, it will probably end up blowing up in your or your teammates' faces. It just feels too inconsistent to use, and it makes Maggie just fundamentally a bit bad. I do really enjoy playing Maggie and Maggie with a shotgun, but honestly, she has major problems, and they pretty much all come down to the wrecking ball. Her tactical's actually really powerful, and the fact that it highlights enemies through walls is absolutely brilliant and has helped me many times. And currently, Seer and Maggie are sitting at 2nd and 3rd place on the legend pick race, so people are still picking them a lot, albeit maybe because they are freshly updated characters. So, who's in 1st place? Well, Ashe is back. For the first day since the update, which was several days ago, Ashe has crawled back to 1st place despite her nerfs. If you're not aware, she got a nerf to her dash, so it takes way longer to cool down, and she lost her dual breach ability, so now she can't stack ultimates, she can only have one. And despite all of that, Respawn just cannot kill Ashe, although I must say, I think she's in a good position right now. I don't think Respawn need to nerf her, and if they are going to nerf her, I think they should focus on the tether instead of the dash and ultimate. I think right now though, we're starting to see a pretty interesting meta build up in Apex. As Respawn are adding more movement abilities to characters, these characters are becoming higher picked, and honestly the legends overall have pretty healthy pick rates. There's only 3 legends that have a below 1% pick rate, which is pretty good, and if you've played Apex for a long time, you might realise how crazy it is that Ashe, Seer, Maggie and Alter are the top 4 most picked legends in the game, when about a year ago, these 4 legends were some of the least picked legends in the game. And now look how the mighty have fallen, especially Octane and Valk. And with the recent Seer updates, a lot of people who play Octane and Valk are very mad, because these 2 movement characters are essentially being neglected to give other legends movement abilities. And Valk players are especially mad that they did not get that hover aim down sights. And you know what, I guess it makes sense, because Valk has a full jetpack with hover, so why can't she shoot and hover at the same time? Honestly, I would not be surprised at some point if we do see an Octane and a Valk rework in the future, and honestly, lately I've seen way more people requesting Octane to get an update, and at the end of the day, Respawn do listen, and if they see loads of people leaving Octane to play other movement characters, I'm sure they could probably figure out maybe it's time to give Octane a bit more power. I do have a sneaking suspicion that they are going to give Octane some sort of upgrade soon, as you may remember several months ago, Respawn shared this clip here, and within this clip, the Octane jump pad had 2 charges without his 2 charge perk being active, showing that somewhere in the Respawn developer builds, they are working on Octane. So for him, I feel like it could only be a matter of time. For our dear Valkyrie, I do feel bad that she's not the one hover shooting, and maybe she will see some changes, although for her, I'm not too sure because we've had no solid proof that Respawn will do anything with her. But if you are a Valkyrie fan, maybe it's time to get vocal. And if you want to keep updated with who's getting upgrades next, definitely subscribe to this channel for quick news.